Welcome to episode 3 of The Real Talk Trader, and today we've got a special guest, Ryan Chandler, the owner of Forex Club Trading Community. Welcome, Ryan. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. So, today we are going to get to know the real Ryan, not the Ryan that's on Instagram, not the Ryan that has the G-Wagon and the Lamborghini. Viewers and members of Forex Club want to get to know the real you. So I've known you now, what, 6, 7 years?
Yeah,
I've got to
yeah,
know
7 years.
the real you, and I think viewers should know not you on Instagram, just the real you, how you manage your day-to-day life. You've got 3 kids. So let's take it right back to the beginning. So tell us a bit real quick about your upbringing and how you got to where you are now.
God, blimey, this could be a long story. I'm 36 now, so I'll try and keep it the key milestones on my timeline. So I was brought up in many different houses. So by the time I left school, I'd lived in around about 16 different houses. My mum and dad split up from a young age. My mum had got with someone else. They got divorced and then got back with someone else. So it was a bit of chopping around. And this isn't looking for sympathy or anything, because when you're a kid, you don't know any different, so you just don't care. It's not like you can compare it to another life that you've had, right? So it's just normal, right? So lived in lots of different houses, lots of moving around. Didn't faze me at all. However, that did give me a very deep subconscious want for really nice things when I grow up. Not like so much like the supercars and stuff, but a really nice family home. And from like a young teen, I always had this image in my mind of this beautiful house, nice driveway down the middle, big beautiful gates, electric gates that would open, and all the wonderful things that you could have in a home was in my home, in my imagination. So that has always been a driving force for me. Like, I want to get that home. So that's always been a big dream of mine. And I think that subconsciously came from being moved around from when I was a kid, right? So that always gave me ambition and desire and motivation and the discipline, having that kind of dream locked in at the back of my mind. And then as I moved into senior school, I made a couple of friends and their parents were relatively wealthy. So when I went around their houses after school, I was like, wow, I've never seen this kind of life before, because I wasn't from a wealthy background. And that just fucking ignited a flame within me. And I was like, this is a life that I've got to have. You know, going around their houses, 5-bed houses, massive, huge driveways, get like 10 cars on it. And they're just doing things like, oh, let's all go and watch a football match. I was like, what? And they're like, 50 quid a ticket for a football match. I'm like, oh my God, like my parents can't give you this money. No, we're paying for it. What are you on about? Like it was nothing. And I was just like, mate, this is sort of person I want to be. Just, yeah, come on, let's go and do this. No problem. Don't worry. Yeah, let's go and do that. So that is what gave me the ambition and desire in my life that I wanted, and that I needed to kind of get me to where I am today, seeing these things and seeing these lives of other people, which kind of embedded in me, this is the sort of lifestyle that I want. And I think everyone secretly wants more out of life. Some people are just too lazy to go and get it. So they just think, and they just kind of bury it deep down. But I think most humans on planet Earth do want more out of life. And why would you not want to live a better life if you could, right? It's just hard, isn't it? You got to take risks and you got to break out and you got to work harder and do more.
Yeah. So how did you tackle that? So you must have been so young and thinking, I really want all of this. And obviously, like you've just said, a lot of people are lazy. So like we all watch TV, we all see Towie, everything in their massive houses these days. So what was the trigger that made you think, oh, all my mates are just going down the park drinking or something, and you were going to be different to them?
I just thought from a young age, I've got to make money. And if I'm out, I'm not making money. So I lied about my age. When I was 14, I said I was 16, and I got a job as a waiter, but it was like silver service. So we kind of traveled around the south coast of England. This was after school, right? And someone would come pick you up and you go and do silver service. Like, you put the food on their table, doing weddings and shit like that. And just got away with it. But where I was just such a grafter. I'd like clear a whole table twice as quick as anyone else, and I'd go and help someone else clear their table and shit like that. The owner knew eventually that I was only young, but he never said nothing. He knew, and he just let me get away with it. And no one ever spoke about it. And I just worked there while I was at school. Instead of doing the paper round for £20 a week, I was getting £20 a night. So I thought I was balling. And then done that for a while. Yeah, and I was like, okay, this is good. So then I was kind of like, started going to a market, like kind of out of London, buying loads of like clothes, and I was selling them at college while I was at college. That paid my car finance and my insurance and my fuel, so I could get to college. And I was at college for a year, and I was like, this ain't for me, man. Like, I'm wasting time here. I know I can do more. So I just left college. Obviously, parents don't like that, do they? You leave college and stuff. And then from there, I just started working for some property developers. I got to work with the owner, so I learned quite a lot from him about business. And I was just a labourer, grafter, knocking up cement and concrete, and, doing whatever they needed me to do. I just done it, and then I learned a bit from them, and then just carried on just working hard, like 7 days a week. I'd ring people up. Like if I didn't have work on the weekend for the company that I was working for, this is still a teenager, I'd panic. And I'll be like, I'll ring up my mates' dads. Oh, do you need any labourers? Need anything? Let me know. I can do it. And I'll just literally ringing around. Like, I've got to work Saturday, Sunday. I can't have 2 days off. And it'd really piss me off if I didn't have no work on the weekend. Absolutely, I'd be disgusted. Literally. And I'm talking like I'm 18 years old. You know what I mean? So don't get me wrong. I was still going out. I was going out drinking as well, like Friday nights. And I'd just get up for work always. And my dad said to me, he went, mate, he goes, you got to ease up. He goes, because you're going out, you're getting up for work really early, which is fine, but you're going to burn yourself out. And I was like, nah, I'm all right, don't worry. Just crack on.
Did you burn yourself out?
Nah, I did not fuck. Just carried on. Carried on.
You're still doing it now?
You've got to work hard. Like, the hard work unlocks the smart work. People don't realise that. You can't just jump straight to the smart work if you're trying to build something on your own. I mean, it's a bit different now in 2025. There's lots of different things you can do online, so you can almost skip to the smart work a little bit more. But when you're building something truly from scratch for yourself, you got to do a hell of a lot of hard work, a hell of a lot of failing, and you just keep going and going and going. And the more hours of work you can put in a year gets you ahead of everybody else. You're learning quicker. You know what I mean? You're learning faster. You're failing faster.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. I was like, if I can just work loads, I'm going to make loads of money. I'm going to learn quicker. I'm going to fail quicker. So I'm going to get where I want quicker. It was just obvious mathematics. Like, so the average person fails 10 times a year, right? That's not a fact. I'm making it up for this podcast. But the average person fails 10 times a year. But if I could fail 50 times a year, I'm going to be 5 years ahead. This is what I used to think. So I'm just going to work my ass off and just keep trying things and failing quick and then trying to something else and learning and just keep going and quick. And just keep moving forward as much as I possibly can and as aggressive as I possibly can, and I'm going to be years and years and years ahead of where I should be for my age, and that's what I did.
So every time you failed, this is actually a question that's come from one of the group. We can put it off the back of this. Is how did you pick yourself up? Because a lot of people fail and they won't pick themselves back up, but you've obviously failed 50 times a year in your head, and then still picked yourself back up, and you're where you are now.
Right, you got to flick the switch. So every time you fail, you've learned from it, and now you're another step closer, because you can't achieve a goal without first becoming the type of person that can have that goal. So you can't be a success without becoming the sort of person that can be successful. And all the failures and all the barriers that you overcome, all the obstacles in the way, you're going to go through a lot of trauma, a lot of hell before you get to where you want to go. That's all just a test, building you into the type of person that is worthy of the goal that you seek. So every time I had a hard time and then I failed at something, I was like, wait, that's good. I'm a step closer now. What have I learned from this? Bang, bang, bang. Right, I'm not doing that again. So all the time, you got to think. You got to flick the switch in your mind. You got to think, right, this isn't happening to me. This is happening for me. If I overcome this, I'm now going to be more resilient. I'm going to have more knowledge. I'm a step closer to where I want to go. I'm becoming more of the type of person I need to become to achieve what it is I want to achieve. That's how you got to look at failure. People get so emotional about failing. Oh, I've done this. I tried once. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, they do. You just want to get like that world's smallest violin out for them, don't you? Just get back up. Just pick yourself up and crack on.
Yeah, like Who cares? No one cares. Who cares? All right, mate, you tried. Well done. Most people aren't. Who cares? You failed. Now do something else. Learn from it. Go
Yeah.
again. Go again. Yeah, you got to be relentless. You got to not care.
So how did you go from that failing, flipping your mindset to having, well, I'd probably say one of the biggest Forex communities out there in terms of what we can achieve?
So going from failing to creating a community that I've got. So first of all, once you realise sitting around squinting about something you failed at, it isn't making any progress, is it? You soon pick yourself up, don't you? And keep moving forward, right? So that's one thing for anyone that's listening to think about. The more time you spend sulking about one of your failures, the less time you're working on getting to where you want to get to, right? So you've just got to pick yourself up. You've got to move on quick and forget about it. Learn what you can from it and just move. So where I am now in terms of the Forex Club, it came from, so initially there was never no plan. Like, I'm going to build an online business with Forex, have all these members, we're going to have a great time, we're all going to help one another. Never in my mind did I ever think that once, right? There was no predetermined idea. All I thought was, the internet is blowing up, right? There's a much easier way to leverage the use of your time. So your time spent on an online business doing something, you're going to get a bigger return for than what you physically out there working, right? Because when you're out there physically working, your income is capped for how much time you can put in. Online, you can reach the whole fucking planet. And that appealed to me. I was like, you're no longer a local business, right? You can be a global business. So
A worldwide business.
Yeah, so I tried a few things, and then Forex was the one which I just kept coming back to. Like, I tried it like a little bit, and I'd kind of like, dip my toe in, and I was like, oh, and then I tried a bit of drop shipping and something else, and I kept coming back to Forex. And then it dawned on me, when I'm really starting to scale up, so if I've already put 110% into this, and it's like 3-4 years later, I don't need anyone to work for me. I don't need a bigger office, any more vehicles. I don't need any more inventory. All I need is a bigger trading account balance. And I'm doing the exact same work, but getting more return. And that was it. As soon as that clicked in my mind, I was like, Ryan, you're an idiot if you don't give this 110%. This is the business. So started trading, failed like everyone does at first, tried different strategies I'd seen online. But then what happened was, when I say online, I mean YouTube. But then from each thing that I was trying around, like to work in terms of a strategy, like I knew I needed a consistent bullet point checklist strategy. I knew that from the get-go. But it's hard to find that manually because you've got to do a lot of testing. You've got to do a lot of work to create something from scratch. I mean, thousands of hours on the charts. People don't realise if you're creating a strategy from scratch and you've got zero knowledge, it's fucking hard work. So that was what I did at the time. And I test, try something, take a little bit from this strategy I've seen on YouTube, think that could work, but not how this person's doing it. Then I try some other stuff, mess about a bit, trying to do my own find. I go, oh, what I learned from that could go well with this. And then I started connecting things up. By this point, like 6 months to a year's gone by, and I've lost money and I've not had nothing really consistent. Then I started finding a bit of consistency. Risk management was more on point. Risk to reward ratio, had more checklist. And I was like, okay, I'm getting this now. And then it started to grow. So once I kind of got to that point, and then people realised I wasn't working anymore, people just started asking me, mate, what is it you're doing? I was like, oh, I'm trading.
Didn't you take quite a big risk though to get into trading? Didn't you sell your house and use your deposit to create a business?
Yeah, so what happened was, so first of all, people were asking me like, what is it you're doing, blah, blah, blah. And then it was when I moved out of my house and went into renting. So I sold my house and that funded like my trading. And then when I'd done that, everyone was like, oh mate, how come you've moved? And then conversations start to spark. And I'm like, I'm renting. Like, what? People's minds are blown. They're like, you've come off the property ladder to rent. I was like, yeah, like, I can't really explain to you what I'm doing, but, it makes sense to me right now in my life. And they're like, no. Like, why are you throwing away all this money in rent? Like, the amount of conversations I've had with, like, in-laws and, like, aunties and uncles, they're like, at, like, family events, they can't get their head around it. And I'm like, yeah, but this is what works for me right now. The money that I invested in myself is paying
Yeah.
all of my rent, and I've got more money on top. So I'm making more money than I was from my salary from my job, right? And all my rent's being paid, all because I sold my house. I'm better off right now because I've invested that money in myself. And people find that hard to understand. Yeah, but you're still throwing the rent money away. No, I wouldn't have the extra income if I didn't sell my house, right? And it's hard for
Yeah.
people to understand. But it worked for me. So I took that risk, jumped in the deep end. I thought, right, this has to fucking pay off now. Because if I lose this money, I'm fucked. I'm renting for a long time, right?
You weren't just about to lose your house and that. Zoe probably would have walked walked a mile as well.
My first of 3 children as well. So Cruz was very young. Like he must have been. Be thinking about this. We get the times right. So 2016, 2017. He must have been under a year old when I moved out, and that was scary. But I was like, the longer I leave it, the more kind of risk there is. You just got to point a bullet now and just go for it. And I did, and worked my ass off. There were some massive ups and downs, some scary moments.
Mm-hmm.
It worked. Very, very thankful that it did, of course. But along that journey of making it work, working hard, you know, a lot of people just asking, what is it you're doing? So you show one person, next person. Then you realise, actually, there's a niche for this. There's a niche for showing people how to trade correctly. So just started doing a few things online, nothing major, just on social media. Like I remember starting my Instagram page up and I was just like, yeah, I'm doing a bit of trading. If anyone wants to find out like what I'm doing, just drop me a message. Just it was crazy back then. We're talking like maybe 2018 by this point. I've been trading about 2 years. And it was literally just mess. It was crazy. Honestly, I'd wake up on a Sunday morning, like 40 DMs on Instagram. I'm like, this is mad. I knew there was like a need for good trading education, but I didn't realise like this. I just had a real basic course back then, nothing fancy. So I got videoed myself. It was, you know, it was all echoey. It wasn't great. But people loved it. People loved it and made like a little group and I was kind of showing them what trades I was taking and stuff like that. And it just took off. It just took off. And I was like, this is brilliant. I loved it. I love building. I love building anything. I'm a builder.
Yeah.
I love building a family. I love building my trading account. I love building business. I love building the trading community. I just love building things. I don't know what it is about me. It's in my DNA. I like building stuff. And building the trading community, the Forex Club, has been, obviously apart from my family, my kids, has been one of my greatest achievements because our community, if you go on like reviews of other people's communities, there's always bad reviews. Oh, I went in the community, I got laughed at. You know, people were, you know.
Mm-hmm. We get a lot of that. They get named and shamed. It's
very positive. Everyone helps everyone. We're all beginners once, even me, even you. Everyone is positive, and I love that. We have got some absolute fantastic people in our community, and that's happened because positivity attracts positivity, right? There's been a lot of negative people that come on our group, and I can tell you this now, right? They've come in our group, seen how positive it is, and they've just left. Because they're going to say, this, I don't belong here. You know what I mean? Because they want to chat shit, and no one chat shit in our community. I love it. I absolutely love it. This is why I pay out my own pocket to do the big meetups. Apart from the Christmas
and they're amazing.
Apart from the Christmas one, I had to charge a ticket fee for that. But apart from that one, every single meetup I've done since 2018, I've paid for. I've never charged a ticket price just because I love meeting up with everybody and just hearing everyone's story, helping people out because everyone's on a different part of their journey. And when you hear it, you go, I remember when I was there. And they say, yeah, well, I'm kind of at this point. You're like, wow, I'll tell you what, keep going because do this X, Y, and Z, and then you'll get here. And you can kind of everyone just helps each other out.
And how does it make you feel when you get those messages saying thank you so much, you've literally changed my life?
Yeah, it is good. That's the very rewarding part of the job. That's more rewarding than hitting a take profit. I can tell you that.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely. So you went from manual trading to building this insane, which you'll see on the previous Real Talk Trader where Emma goes through, and obviously on our Instagrams. Real quick, because I got a couple of questions for you from members. But what made you go from manual trading to, like, I felt like I went on that journey with you through those long nights of you being up, testing and testing to create this automated system where users can simply, essentially pay nothing to trade, to have a system that trades for them.
Yeah, that was hard. That's taken me 5 years to get to the point where it is now. So 5 years of like even traveling to Europe, meeting different coders,
Yeah.
trying to get my ideas across in person, and then getting it built is very challenging. But it was, believe me, if someone said to me how much it would cost and how long it would take, I maybe wouldn't have embarked on that journey. But 6 months leads into a year leads into two leads into three leads into four leads into five. 5 years later, right? You don't expect that to happen, but it does. And yeah, it's been really good. But the reason why is because I was manually trading a lot, and I was like on the charts, maybe more than the normal trader, just because I had the time to. And I was like, this AI stuff's really. I could just keep hearing whispers of AI, right? And I was like, this is going to kick off. This is like 2019, end of 2019. This is going to kick off, this AI stuff. I'm telling you, this is going to blow up. Like, I need to get on this with trading. I need to get automated trading system different to what other people have got, and it needs to be able to be good with AI. When AI booms, I need to be able to integrate AI with it at some point. I don't know what ChatGPT wasn't even around, right? There will be some AI, 100%. This is me in 2018, that I can integrate with an automated trading software in the future. There's got to be. It's like, you keep seeing whispers of it popping up on like Bloomberg and that AI. I'm like, this is going to take off, and sure enough, it has. It's fucking skyrocketed AI massively, and now we've integrated it, right? ChatGPT. So I was like, and then when that does happen, it's going to be a game changer. So I started developing, and we started off with semi-automated. That was hard, just getting to that. Got to semi-automated, where it would send us like an alert, prices at this level, we'd do a manual check. If it's good, we would use the suggested take profit and stop loss, place to trade. Then semi-auto moved into fully auto. It kind of progressed. Semi-auto kind of progressed as semi-auto could be. Then we moved into the fully automated. And there's a version of that, and that version evolved into kind of the version what we got today, right? Step by step, which is the next gen. The current version one is 2.2, where you can create pretty much any kind of trading strategy that you like on any symbol that you like.
And it takes a couple of minutes, right? I think I timed 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, you're not spending time on charts anymore, put it that way. Like,
no.
What would have previously took maybe like 500 hours could now take like an hour or two. So it's a mental, the speed in which you can become a trader now, the barrier to entry is so low because of utilising software. And if you're using the software correctly and you learn how the software works, you understand the software, which you will because you've got tutorials and the support from the community, then you'll be fine. You can get trading relatively quickly. Now, I say to people, don't rush. If you're coming into it, learn how to use the software a bit first, play around with it, connect up to a demo account, get a good understanding of it. Then you can look to progress to the next level, try and get a funded trading account, whatever it is you want to do.
But let me just pick at that word, don't rush there, because a lot of communities, people go into communities and they're told not to rush and they're literally left alone. Whereas our community, we've got a community that everyone helps each other, but they've got you, me and Alex that they can have ad hoc Zooms with. That is what they get as part of the membership. So they're never left alone, and we're always there supporting them, holding their hand to get set up and get up and running, essentially.
Yeah, what's the point of having a business which services people's need for wanting to trade if you're not going to help them? It doesn't work, does it? It's pointless. It'd just be headache for everyone. What's the point? The business is only as successful as it makes our members successful, right? So the business is only a successful business if we're making people successful. So why would you not? Yeah, exactly. Like is part of the job description that we support people, nurture them on their journey, and make sure that they're getting the results that they need.
Yeah. So I've got one more question then that actually I think 5 members asked me to ask you. So you've got 3 kids. you run a business. They want to know how on earth you manage your family life, maintaining, keeping them all happy, as well as keeping your members and other little businesses that you've got on the go and other projects. How do you keep it all, but also keep yourself happy and healthy?
Time management is key, which I think is the most obvious one. You got to get up early and go to bed late, um, which is just the cost of the dream, right? So you got to do that, and you got to use your time well. However, it wasn't like I just woke up one morning, had a couple of businesses and 3 kids dumped on my lap, right? It happens over time. So as things progress, you find ways to navigate days, and then you put systems in place. You start to automate certain aspects of things, and I've got a wife, and she does certain bits. So you just evolve over time, and that's what's important. It might seem daunting to someone that hasn't got any kids. They're not trading successfully yet. They haven't even got their own business. They're thinking, "Oh my God, how am I ever going to do what that guy does?" Well, you will, because you got to, and you'll find a way. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, you adjust. And what do you see as the biggest challenge then going into the rest of your biggest challenge business wise going into the rest of 2025?
Biggest challenge. My biggest challenge business wise going into 2025. Well, one of my biggest challenges is there's not enough hours in the day. That's for sure.
we keep it at that. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
Thank you so much, Ryan. We'll leave it there. Again, in the description of this, there will be a link where you can book a call with me or Ryan to look at our automation system, understand how it works, and essentially get a free half-hour demo call. So thank you, Ryan. Next week, we have got the one and only Shaky Jake appearing, who's gone from 0 to 600,000, and we're going to hear his full story. So thank you, Ryan.
For sure. Definitely.
And we catch you all soon.
Take it easy.